Hi there, in this video I'll be covering the Phoenix Rod from Heretic. This is the 6th weapon in your arsenal, and perhaps one of the best weapons the game has to offer. It is the explosive weapon of the game, a rough equivalent of the rocket launcher. Simultaneously, it's also one of the first flamethrowers in FPS history. While most video game rocket launchers have a reputation for being quite good, video game flamethrowers on the other hand have a bit of a reputation for being weak and sometimes completely useless. So, does the flamethrower portion of this weapon hold up to that reputation? Does the rocket launcher portion of this weapon hold up to that reputation? No and yes, respectively. Why do I say that? Well, I'll explain why here in a bit. Let's begin. This is the Phoenix Rod, one of the most powerful artifacts you'll find on your journey to slay the Sparrow. Its name and design is crafted after the Phoenix, the fiery bird of legend revered among all 7 nations of Parthoris, especially the Schilder. Its specialty is firing somewhat slow but deadly missiles of flame that explode upon contact with any enemy, inflicting powerful bursts of damage. Unpowered, the Phoenix Rod can do anywhere between 20 to 160 damage with a direct hit alone, with a median of 90 damage being somewhere around your regular amount. However, that median doesn't factor in the fact that this weapon's direct hit only does damage in multiples of 20, so it will most likely be 80 or 100. Not only that, but every explosion will deal blast damage, which is anywhere from 0 to 128 damage. The amount of blast damage you do depends on how close the explosion is to an enemy, not dissimilar to the time bomb of the ancients or even those weird floating egg sacs you'll find around a number of maps. When you hit an enemy directly with the unpowered Phoenix Rod, you will definitely incur the full amount of blast damage upon them. So in reality, with most enemies, you can do 148 to 288 damage with this thing. Firing at 1.75 shots per second, this weapon can approximately give you 348 to 385 damage per second once you factor in the extra shots you'll get in every now and then. Each projectile will travel at 700 map units per second, so make sure you can predict where your enemy is moving towards when firing from afar. Powered up, the Phoenix Rod's purpose changes entirely. Instead of shooting enemies far away with a rocket launcher style weapon, you'll be roasting them up close with a flamethrower style weapon. You want to continuously hold down the fire button on this thing, because for the price of 1 bit of ammo, it will shoot down a flame for every tick for 10 seconds. That means this thing can shoot up to 350 bursts of fire for only 1 bit of ammo. Each individual flame can do anywhere between 2 to 16 damage, but remember that if you're shooting this weapon for a second straight, you can do 70 to 560 damage per second. The median of that is 315, but odds are your practical approximate DPS will be somewhere around 305 to 310. Either way, when you're shooting that many bits of flame, usually you'll manage to consistently stun lock most enemies with it, even the ones with low pain chances. The powered up version of this weapon sounds really strong, doesn't it? Well, it may be a little too good to be true. While it deals an unbelievable amount of damage per second, it also requires 2 things from you. You need to be quite still when firing this weapon because the flames travel quite slowly, a slow 350 map units per second. When you move around, the weapon doesn't exactly carry your momentum either. As is the case with many other games, standing still can be death in Heretic, especially when dealing with a high quantity of enemies in wide open spaces. To that, I say to not use the powered up Phoenix Rod in that situation. It goes great against single targets though, like boss enemies. I'll tell you more about the boss enemies when we get to them later. The Phoenix Rod ammo supply consists of flame orbs and inferno orbs. When you first pick up the Phoenix Rod, you'll get a humbling 2 or 3 bits of ammo depending on whether you're playing on the lowest or highest difficulties or not. Each flame orb you find will give you 1 bit of ammo regardless of the difficulty, but each inferno orb will give you 10 or 15 shots depending on the difficulty. 2 enemies can potentially drop flame orbs too, Ophidians and Molotars. The fire orb's Ophidians drop can give you 5 or 7 shots depending on the difficulty. The Molotars flame orb is also interesting, because it gives you the same amount of ammo as an Inferno orb. I have no idea why it isn't actually an Inferno orb. Maybe you can go ask Ben Goki or Chris Reinhardt about that one, since one of them probably coded in this anomaly of a flame orb, or knows who did. Anyways, this weapon has a maximum capacity of 20 ammo, or 40 ammo with a bag of holding. I suppose its lack of ammo is a counterweight to its power. Did I mention this weapon is strong? One thing you want to watch out with this weapon though is its unique magical properties. The actual projectile itself won't do any damage to ghost enemies for whatever reason. However, the splash damage it inflicts will do damage. Yeah, you can go ask Chris and Ben about this one too. Just please don't flood their inboxes with these kinds of questions. Alright, let's get to the damage calculations. This one will be a bit different due to the unique way the powered up rod functions. I'll be calculating how much damage that does in seconds rather than counting how many flame bursts it takes to kill each enemy. I'm sure you can understand why. So the gargoyles with their 40 health will go down in one direct hit, due to the splash damage that's applied to them being greater than their health, no matter how low the direct hit itself is. The powered up version can take them down in less than a second, but due to their fast movement, it can be a bit tricky to get multiple gargoyles down with one piece of flame ammo consistently firing due to their small size. The fire gargoyles are much of the same. With 80 health, they'll go down in one direct hit too. The powered up version can kill them in under a second, or a little over a second, or 1.14 seconds at its absolute worst. Due to the fire gargoyles being so mobile and airborne, it can be hard to hit them with this thing either way. The golems, however, do not have this problem, due to their size and relative lack of mobility compared to the gargoyles. Since they have the same amount of health as a fire gargoyle, they'll go down in the same amount of time and amount of hits regardless. But it's definitely easier to apply those hits to them, unless they're ghost golems. You'll have to kill them with the splash damage from the unpowered version or burn them with the powered version. One strategy you can apply is shooting a non-ghost enemy next to the ghostly golem and let the direct hit and splash damage take care of the both of them. If you're desperate, you can shoot the walls these ghost enemies usually find themselves along. Nitro golems are in a bit of a similar situation. With 100 health, they'll go down in one direct hit. They'll take a theoretical maximum of 1.43 seconds to kill them with the powered up rod, but they tend not to move around as much as the regular golems due to their projectile throwing nature. This is especially true on Black Plague. You may be best firing at these dorks with the unpowered version from afar. Since they like throwing missiles at you, you might as well give them a taste of their own medicine, right? Of course, Nitro golems also come in ghostly forms too, so you'll have to consider where you're firing with the unpowered version if and when you encounter them with it. Undead warriors are where you may need to invest a bit more. With 200 health, they'll go down in 1 to 2 direct hits with the unpowered rod. When fighting ghostly undead warriors, you'll need 2 well-placed splashes at the very least to take them down. Powered up, it'll take a theoretical maximum of 2.86 seconds to kill each individual undead warrior. At least this version will do damage to ghostly enemies. But you don't really want to get up close to either undead warrior, at least you get unlucky and have a particularly damaging red axe thrown straight into your face. Disciples of the Sparrow are unique. With 180 health, they'll take 1 to 2 direct hits to kill with the unpowered rod. However, they may flicker while firing, so some of your projectiles might go through them. When in that very brief flickering state, you'll need to rely on splash damage to kill them. If you're really unlucky with your timing, you need 2 well-placed splashes to kill them while in that state. I have no idea how you could be that unlucky though, unless you're playing on Black Plague where they flicker almost constantly. Powered up, they'll need a theoretical maximum of 2.57 seconds to put down. Since they fly around a lot, it may be hard to even get close enough to hit them with the powered flames. Sheesh. Saber claws are a good enemy to kill with this weapon, as long as you're far away from them when using the unpowered version. With their 150 health, it'll take 1 to 2 direct hits as usual to put these things down. And hey, they don't have any ghostly forms to worry about either. Powered up, you need a theoretical maximum of 2.14 seconds to kill the Saber Claws. Since they're melee enemies like the golems, they'll bundle up a bit better. This makes the powered up rod a pretty good option against them due to you not needing to move around to dodge projectiles. The big were-dragons with their 220 health will also take 1 to 2 direct hits from the unpowered rod to take down. Noticing a theme here? This weapon kills just about everyone in that amount of time, huh? That's why it's so strong. Anyways, powered up, you need a theoretical maximum of 3.14 seconds to kill them, but of course your average amount of DPS with a powered up version will take them down almost instantly. The only problem is the fact that you'll actually have to get up close to the were-dragons to deal damage with the powered up version on them. That's an easy way to get killed, really. The Ophidians with their 280 health thankfully also go down in 1 to 2 direct hits from the unpowered rod. Due to the fact that they drop flame orbs, this makes the Phoenix Rod a nice investment against them. Powered up, it'll take a theoretical maximum of 4 seconds to kill them. but of course this is usually lower due to the powered rod's average DPS. However, like the other projectile tossing enemies, it is not advised to get up close to these enemies since they tend to come in numbers. At least they're a good way to get flame orbs with 5 or 7 ammo. Now for the boss enemies. The Iron Liches with their 700 health will need 3 to 5 shots to put down with the Phoenix Rod. Since they appear in later episodes as common enemies, this is pretty good. You can just delete these have-been bosses with just a few clicks. Powered up, it takes between 1.25 seconds to a theoretical maximum of 10 seconds to put these things down. Odds are though that it might not take anywhere more than under 3 seconds to kill them due to the weapon's average DPS. It's not a good idea to get up close to the Iron Liches though, since they can do quite a nasty bit of damage to you from that range. Not to mention, due to their projectile throwing nature, you'll have to move around a lot to dodge their attacks. Moving around a lot is not good when using the powered up Phoenix Rod. Molotovs with their 3000 health will need 19 to 150 shots to put down with a median of 85. Wait a minute, that doesn't make sense, does it? Were you expecting them to be put down in like 11 to 21 shots? Don't be silly. Molotovs are immune to splash damage. Yeah. So you could theoretically require the aforementioned amount of shots to kill them with this thing. Don't forget that the median of damage per shot tends to be around 80 or 100. Usually this means you can take these big bulls down in 30 to 38 shots if you factor in the median of 80 being your most likely lowest amount of damage per shot. Powered up, this weapon is great against Molotovs. You can kill them in a theoretical minimum of 5.36 seconds. Or a theoretical maximum of 42.85. Now, don't panic. While that latter number may seem like a lot, remember the average DPS of 305 to 310 means you could probably take these guys down in around 9.52 seconds. You may need 1 or 2 shots worth of Phoenix Rod ammo to kill them generally, though. Remember that they can drop flame orbs either way, so killing them with the Phoenix Rod is a decent investment. This is especially true when you consider that you might be able to stun lock them with the powered up version. If you're concerned about the stun lock not working though, or have to deal with more enemies than just one Molotov, you may want to look out to see if there's a ring of invincibility on the map. There usually is one on a map with a Molotov, so don't forget to look out for those secrets. Both stages of the Sparrow are immune to splash damage too, so be ready for that. Unpowered, it takes 13 to 100 shots to kill the Serpent with a median of 57. That isn't right either, so let's factor in the 2 potential medians of your damage per shot, 80 and 100. With that much damage per shot, you take the Serpent down in 20 to 25 shots. Much better, right? Powered up, you'll need between 3.57 to 28.57 seconds with a median of 1607 to kill the Serpent. Or so it may seem. Once again, factor in the average DPS of 305 to 310 and you'll more likely need around 6.5 seconds to kill this beast. While the beast is deadly up close, you can stun lock it with this weapon quite efficiently, and it's much better at stun locking than the gauntlets too. Now for the Sparrow himself. He's also immune to splash damage, and that isn't good with his 3500 health. Theoretically, it'd take a minimum and maximum of 22 and 175 direct hits respectively to put him down, with a median of 99. With the medians of your damage per shot being 80 and 100, you probably more likely need 35 to 44 shots. The only problem is the Sparrow will more likely teleport faster than you fire your Phoenix Rod. Powered up, it takes between 6.25 to 50 seconds with a median of 28.12 seconds to kill this evil Serpent Rider. With your average powered DPS factored in, it'd more likely take 11.11 seconds to kill him with the powered up rod. However, the teleportation factor is also to be noted. Yeah, it's quite evil. He's even coded to have a chance to teleport away when he takes a hit from the powered up Phoenix Rod. Before he even does that, however, the powered up rod can be a good early investment on him. When starting this phase of the fight, I use it myself, along with the Ring of Invincibility to put a decent amount of damage on this Stork before he teleports away, then switch to the hit scan weapons with the occasional projectile spam every now and then. Naturally, I use the Ring of Invincibility because, well, are you kidding me? I ain't risking getting insta-killed by being up close to the Sparrow, are you crazy? But anyways, yes, this is a great weapon when powered up to get some early damage in on him. So that's the Phoenix Rod. It can kill pretty much every non-boss enemy in 1 to 2 shots, and even holds its own against even the biggest and meanest boss enemies in certain circumstances. The only downsides are its lack of ammo, its niche use as either being a weapon you have to use far away or up close depending on whether or not it's powered up, and the fact that the powered up version's flames don't carry your momentum at all that well. These downsides aren't too bad, not even that last one if you consider the powered up version of this weapon more so of a boss or melee enemy killer than anything else. Anyways, that's all I have for you guys for now. Feel free to let me know what your personal favorite aspect about this weapon is, or perhaps something I may have missed explaining in this video. The next video in this series will be covering the Fire Mace. And oh boy, this next one might take a while to come out, because it's a bit difficult talking about this weapon in particular. Anyways, if you liked the video, thumb it up, and if you want, you can support me with a coffee in the description. Never necessary but always appreciated. Thanks for watching, and until next time, toodaloo.